Hello, everybody. This is John Wynn and Bill ETE, and this is a Doomer Bloomer podcast. So I'll let you guys guess what we're going to be talking about today. You guessed it, beer bug. So
Beer bug.
yeah,
Get out of here.
yeah. So why don't you define this a little bit more? There's so much crap going on in the world right now. Um, you know,
Yeah,
let's break it down a little bit.
we've been on a bit of not a hiatus, but we have lives too. But we're looking at coronavirus in Canada, or COVID-19. There's 424 confirmed cases as of 10 a.m. this morning. We're headed into a global recession. Also, a black double. It's called a double black swan event, and John's gonna elaborate on his take on the drop in oil prices and how that's going to affect oil producing countries and states, including Alberta and the United States. And we're going to hopefully try and end the episode on something positive.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll let you know that is when we get there.
Exactly.
So, John, are you at home right now?
Oh, I'm at home. I'm always at home, man. I'm a hermit.
It's the benefit of working from home is much needed right now.
Yeah, tell me about it. But it's crazy. It's crazy. I made my decision a month ago to kind of give my book of business to my wife, who's a nurse, but now like to change industry. So I'm going into business loans right now, and I think this is going to be an industry that's going to be in high demand, considering we're heading for a recession. But I've just started this, so it's right now this is a new business venture, and since my wife. The freight industry is completely on lockdown. In like the last month or whatever, freight has dropped like by 70 or 80%.
Yeah.
I spoke to one of my colleagues who initially I was supposed to go on this venture with in the freight industry, and he said just compared to February, he moved like something like close to 40 loads, and at this point right now he's at 5 or 6 loads or something, which is huge drop, and he has a really good big book of business. So right now, I still work from home, but I mean it's transitional. My girlfriend, who was supposed to start up next week, taking over my book of business, we decided that me, my former colleague, and my wife, like she, we're gonna wait till some of this blows over, because like business is not good in all spheres. So I mean, we can feel, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, but everyone's starting to feel like the economic impact of all this crap right now. But I live in Alberta, and with this double whammy of the coronavirus plus like the gas war, the oil war between Saudi Arabia and Russia, it just killed Alberta's economy, who relies on oil, and I can only imagine what's it going to be for Texas. But just to give you an idea, like I know people that work as geologists and frackers and different oil people. Overnight, like a day or two after that big drop in oil, companies just shut down. Even like areas where there was some explosives and stuff like that for fracking and stuff like that got sealed up with the explosives still in the ground, just sealed up, cemented or whatnot, and
they capped the wells.
Yeah, and everything just got shut down. So it's for places like Alberta, which is completely reliant on oil, with on top of it, like any other business being shut down by the coronavirus, the future looks pretty damn bleak. So I know I'm living a situation that's fairly stressful, but I can only imagine what a good chunk of the population in North America, at least, imagine worldwide, is going through right now. So uh,
Well,
it's pretty insane.
at least I mean, even with like, because I get official updates from General Electric every day,
Yeah.
and they're recommending like uh, if you are like an office worker, whatever, like you should be working remotely. And they have a very specific set of guidelines around staying home and isolating yourself. If you don't need to go out, then you probably shouldn't be. Is
Yeah.
basically what we've been told. My industry at the moment is a little bit different. Like I am in renewable energy. I maintain and help maintain wind turbines. But at the end of the day, um, I think personal health and safety is more important than wind turbines, and it's. I mean, they'll keep spinning for a period of time, even if people aren't there.
Yep.
Um, you know, um, so we're monitoring, like at least GE's monitoring the situation day by day. So is our customer. Um, but as of right now, I'm still considering taking a 2 week leave of absence,
Yeah.
just for my own personal health, because I've gotten sick quite a lot in the last 6 months, and I really don't want to go down that road again. So,
Yeah. Right. You got sick like twice.
well,
Like,
since September, yeah, I've gotten sick twice.
and not like just a slight cough or anything, like completely incapacitated
Uh,
by the
yeah,
flu, correct?
we're talking at least a week of sickness plus 2 to 3 weeks of recovery.
Yeah, yeah,
So for me personally, that health risk is very real. And
yeah,
I'm a healthy 30-year-old male, right?
yeah.
And I should have a fairly robust immune system. So I can't even imagine what it's like for young children or elderly people. To be honest, there's one confirmed death in Ontario, that I just heard about today.
Okay.
Um,
How old was this person?
I'd have to research it a little bit more, but Ontario just declared a state of emergency. So,
Oh well, yeah. Calgary shut down. You sent me that.
well,
I,
I'll,
to be honest, I haven't been following. I mean, we're so surrounded by the everything with Corona and all that that it's like I kind of know like the general bullet points of what's going on, but especially right now, entering a new business and
Trouble hearing?
a
so
new what the hell was that?
sorry.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm trying to free my mind from any distractions like that like my unconscious could like spend time processing and all that. So I kind of know what the bullet points are, but it's crazy. It's crazy what's going on.
well,
People should stay safe.
here is the elevator pitch for across the country right now. Okay,
Yeah,
casinos, non-essential services are shut down.
yeah.
Ontario just issued a state of emergency. Alberta followed suit just recently. British Columbia just shut down all the K to kindergarten to grade 12 school systems indefinitely. So from
Hmm.
now until June, all kids are out of school,
Yeah.
uh, and that's unprecedented. I've never heard of that in my
Never.
entire.
It's like this worldwide too.
Yeah. Um, so that is serious.
Yeah.
The infect like I don't know what the global infection rate is like, but this is a very highly contagious disease. And I'm not trying to fearmonger all that. I'm just saying personal safety perspective, just if you don't really have to go anywhere, it's best to stay home.
Mm-hmm. I know. So when I was doing my trading with my trading group today, one of the guys who's in Britain, um, he was saying that this is from the Royal Medical Association. So basically, the UK's medical governing system said that they're expecting something like 15 months at least of this craziness going around. This is unheard
Wow.
of. Like this is insane. I'm wondering though, like this might sound like pretty crazy. If it really starts getting, even with all the measures and all that, if everyone is getting infected regardless, because like we're going to see how this progresses, and if this progresses exponential, I mean, if everything is um, being put into place and still infections are running rampant, would
Well,
it almost be better just to almost like let whatever it is run its course? And because like this is like the economical impact, like if everyone's going to kind of get it anyways, I'm not saying do this now, but like say in 3-4 months, it's like hundreds of cases every day popping up, and the whole economy is breaking down, and no one is spending, no one's working, no one, and like people are losing their houses, their businesses. Like, man, like think of it. This is just insane, man.
let
Like,
me go ahead.
yeah, like how's this economy going to recover? Is like I don't have the answer. I'm just kind of like
Wow.
posing the question out there. This is insane.
Well, we live in a, like, at least in Canada, we live in a socialist democracy. So at the very least, the government is there to pick up the slack and stimulate the economy. Like the Bank of Canada dropped the percentage rates another 0.5% now. So we're now down under 1% at the prime for the Bank of Canada.
Hmm.
Um, in the United States, they're going to be also, well. That's United States. Usually, the United States starts something, the rest of the world usually follows it. So that's where the rates are coming from. Um, but in terms of historical precedents, the last time we had a pandemic like this was 1918 with the Spanish flu,
Yeah.
which was just over 100 years ago. And actually, my great grandfather was perished from the Spanish flu.
He was what?
My grandpa's dad,
Yeah.
or my great grandfather, died of the Spanish flu in 1918.
Oh wow.
So that was about 500 million people around the world were infected, or 27% of the world population
Yeah.
at that time. So I don't know what the infection rates are with COVID-19. Like, I haven't done that much research into it on that front.
Mm.
So I don't want to put any numbers out there. But like you said, how are, like, with, like, people have a tendency to panic, right?
Yeah.
Like, whether it be, buying up all the toilet paper and the chicken breasts. I mean, I know my social media is.
We bought duck, man. We
You
just
bu-
like,
you
oh man,
bought, you just
yeah.
bought
We
duck.
we got like 4 whole ducks, man, in our freezer right now. Way better
Yeah,
than chicken, and
right.
I can't believe it's cheaper. Oh man, looking forward to it.
But realistically, are you prepared to be staying at home for a month straight?
Well, if like we did a grocery yesterday. Um, a month, I know we have enough to survive for a month. We definitely wouldn't be eating the way we do right now, right? Like say everything shuts down and we don't. There's no more access to food. Um, yeah, I think we could survive for a month, but past that, it would start. I think we'd be shedding off some pounds here.
Well,
Get my beach body back, right?
the COVID-19 diet.
Yeah, man.
Package it up and sell it as a fad diet. COVID-19 got you down.
Yeah.
You lose 19 pounds in 19 days.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
I want to be an affiliate.
Yeah. All right. So I'm not worried, but there was definitely like, so when we did do our groceries, me and my girl, it was there was an unease in the air, that's for sure. I would say she was more worried than I was, but I mean, it's like people with masks, a lot of stuff, no milk, no bread,
Right.
no tissue, a lot of no pasta. So a lot of stuff that we kind of just took for granted, no longer accessible. So, yeah, and there was just like this energy of fear in the air. With no bananas either.
Well, fresh fruit and vegetables are going to be kind of a luxury. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I'm just going to give you a bit of a contrast, right? Because you live in the relative city, right? Compared to me,
Mm-hmm.
I live like the closest population center, largest population center is maybe 25,000 people.
Yeah.
You know, for me, if I want to go 2 hours driving,
Yeah.
But for me, that's normal because that's the way that I grew up. I grew up in a very small, northern, isolated town, and so did John to a certain extent, right? So to me, subsistence living, as they call it, like having your own garden, growing your own like your own produce and stuff, that's pretty normal because I'm not even a generation removed from that.
Yeah.
But lots of people have grown up, you know, relying on grocery stores and prepackaged food and prepackaged grocery products, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when an event like this happens, you know, you go to the store, and I was at like I said, I was at Walmart yesterday, and you look around and like all the meat products were basically gone.
Yeah.
A lot of the shelves are bare. I've never witnessed anything like that in my life. I'm not gonna like it's
yeah, me neither.
It's pretty unreal. Like what's your zombie plan, John? Like I gotta ask you.
Yeah, it's funny you ask that. There's a part of me, I guess, the rough and tumble dude inside of me that's like imagining like the Rambo or Rocky wannabe inside of me, inside my inner child, if you will. Like all the badasses when I was growing up were my idols, type of thing. It would almost like it's not like that I want this to happen or anything like that, but a part of me would like to see. It's just like an alternate reality or something. I would like to see how I do. I'm still a big fan of The Walking Dead. And by the way, last Sunday's episode was fucking amazing, man. One of the best episodes in a long time in the series. But in any case, I was actually thinking while watching that episode, how would I make out in a lawless, not necessarily zombie apocalypse, but in a complete, like, would a system completely broke down and it's like survival of the fittest? How would I, and not only the fittest, but also the wisest and smartest type of thing? How would I make out in a world like that? I'm part of me like kind of like daydreams about this sometimes, and trust me, I don't want this to happen because I really enjoy the comfort. But I can't remember which philosopher said this, but deep down inside, almost everyone dreams about the end of the world. Really wants the end of the world to happen for some reason. It must be like this deep seated nihilism that we all possess to a certain degree. Um, how would I prepare in situations like that when lawlessness and anything can happen? When anything can happen, I think you just got to stay nimble in your mind. Preparations. I mean, you can have like all the food supplies and all that, but if you got like thugs coming with guns, raiding you, I mean, all the preparation in the world is kind of useless. I mean, you need a bit of preparation. So I think the best way to prepare is just to be in the present moment and see what the hell's going on with you. Like if in my neighborhood there's like thugs like overriding shit and all that, well my first instinct would be, okay, we need to get weapons and shit like that. If for whatever reason everyone kind of bands together and there's like kind of like a sense of community in these hard times, then my focus would go towards solidifying that type of community, right? It would really all depend of how people are reacting as a whole. But I'd be ready for anything. I'd be ready for the most violent shit as much as I'd be ready for the best of humanity to kind of shine through in certain pockets of our society. Like I bet places like Toronto and like big cities like that it would definitely be chaos and craziness going down there.
I don't know. I think an emphasis on having a skill is pretty important in times like this. Like, um, I mean, like I have a very specific skill set that I've cultivated over the last 5 to 7 years, I guess I would say. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but as I hinted to earlier, like the way that I grew up compared to a lot of people, I didn't grow up in a city or had access to a lot of quote
Sure.
unquote.
What would be like? What would you define your skill set as? As for me, like doing marketing online is not going to be a valuable skill set. Say if like the whole uh, infrastructure breaks down, you know what I mean? So,
Well,
like, what would
yeah,
you consider your skill set is in a uh, apocalyptic situation?
I'm a survivalist. Survivalist. I'm a survivalist by my own design.
Okay.
Um, because
Well, that would take multiple skills, right?
well, which I do have. Do you want me to name
Exactly.
them?
Yes, yes. That's kind of what
Uh,
I'm getting at.
I, so I know how to basically set up my own independent power system from scratch.
Okay.
Uh,
That's definitely
whether
valuable.
that be a solar panels or a generator or even or a wind powered uh, mechanism. So I would
Hmm.
have access to power. I know how to swim. I was a lifeguard. I have multiple levels of first aid up to level 3. So
Okay, cool.
I know how to fix and set men broken bones. I could probably save you from cardiac arrest if I need to do CPR. Then I can.
Yep.
I'm relatively fit. I did CrossFit for close to 5 years. I have my own personal gym in my own house. Um, I'm I'm fairly well read on a lot of diverse subjects. Um, if you want to survive, then come to my mom's house and I'll borrow some guns and we'll be all good.
Well, especially being able to set up power sources and first aid and all that would definitely be valuable to a community. You definitely would be a valuable asset. That's for sure. Uh, yeah. That it. Yeah, I mean, like especially in a rebuilding phase type of thing. If it's really like all out anarchy out there, um, but there's like groups of people that are doing their best to kind of defend themselves, but also rebuild civilization. Those are multiple skills. It's definitely a good set of skills to be able to survive for sure.
Well, as I've talked about in previous episode, is eventually Bill goes Galt. It's gonna be a real thing.
Yeah.
Mark my words.
Well, yeah, like you're. Do you think we're at risk of getting to that point in the world where it's going off the grid type of thing is not only going to be kind of like a solution, but it's almost going to be imposed on most people?
Well, I mean, you have to look at from a historical basis, how many empires have risen and fell,
Mm-hmm.
right? Including the Roman Empire, and then we got plunged back into the Dark Ages.
Yeah.
And then there was a Renaissance or a rebirth in the mid 17th century.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're moving from the industrial age into the age of technological innovation, right? So at a certain point, there's going to be a singularity of some sort,
Mm-hmm.
where either the world is going to be plunged into an age of further advancement and
beyond our own, beyond even our imagination or regression,
right?
Yeah.
That's one side of the coin, right? And the other side of the coin is we completely go back into a period of dark ages where we had all this technology, we had all of these access to resources, but we squandered them.
And maybe the regression.
Maybe we get ravaged by some sort of event. I don't know if that's this event, but I'm just being prepared is never a bad thing, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Prepare for the worst, but hope for the best is my personal philosophy in a lot of stuff. But I'm kind of extreme. I'm kind of an extreme individual in that sense, right?
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons why I kind of have avoided large population centers over the last few years, just because my new social media thing is like, I am the last introvert, but I don't know. That's just I try and stay positive even in the event of
so I think you took my little fantasy of what if type of thing. It's kind of like the end of the world / Walking Dead / apocalypse or whatever situation. But you kind of live it. You kind of think about it almost on a daily basis, or at least on a consistently regular basis.
I like to entertain myself. And if I have an outlet for entertainment and it brings entertainment to other people, then I'm probably going to use it.
Mm-hmm.
I've recently, like I said, revamped my YouTube channel, and it's going to be headed in a certain direction.
Mm-hmm.
But at my core, I'm a creative individual. That's why we do things like this. Right, and having a platform for that, and sharing my knowledge and my interests with the world is pretty important to me. And we live in a very interconnected world and society, right?
Yep.
That's what globalism is all about. That,
yeah.
Whether it be the coronavirus or the oil prices or what's happening in the stock market, what happens globally affects everybody now.
Yeah. It's no longer isolated. It's it's pretty crazy, but I think it's necessary. Like I used to not think globalism was an issue when the first rumblings I heard about the G20 summits and all that, like in the early 2000s and all that, there was like a lot of riots and shit saying, "Oh, we're against globalism." I was like, "Oh man, it's only the natural progression of things, right?" I couldn't see like I'm like, why is this such like shouldn't humanity come together instead of uh, creating more and more artificial separations and all that. But what's been happening, like for instance, in the EU, is countries no longer can make independent decisions, hence Brexit, right? Anymore. So it's only like a very few people at the head of a coalition that's making decisions for hundreds of millions to billions of people. And I mean, that's the type of globalism I think people are against, and frankly, I'm against too, right?
Yeah.
But like economic globalism is unavoidable, right? I
Well,
mean,
and you can literally see that every time you look around your own house. You know,
exactly.
how many things are made in faraway lands that you've never heard of, but obviously there's a manufacturing plant somewhere, you know,
Yep.
building those things. Like this is what the Alibabas and the Amazons and the Apples and the Googles of the world
Yep.
rely on, right?
Yeah. I saw this old video. I think it was like done in the 50s or 60s or something like that, and it was some I think it's a business dude or economics professor or whatever that was just kind of like talking about the merits of capitalism, and he took something as simple as a pencil and described all the different industries that are interrelated and how many jobs are created just to make a simple pencil. Um, I mean, you've got the miners, you've got all the makers of the machinery to do the mining for lead and stuff. You've got the whole lumber industry, the transportation industry, all these different industries all mingled together to make something as simple as a pencil. You fast forward to 2020, and I mean, you've got almost everything in your house now is like light years away more complex than a simple pencil. So you can imagine like how interconnected everything is, and it's not like one country produces a couple things and that's it's like just a phone has stuff from all over the world, and we think mostly of China obviously, but all the different metals and plastics and all that different stuff doesn't come from China. I mean, it comes from Africa, it comes from North America. It's insane, the complexity, the state of complexity we live in these days. And as you know, like if you look at a Lamborghini, great car, super performance, it's you can't like these, be it a Ferrari, a Lamborghini, whatever, you can't really get better and more complex than that. But those are also the type of machines that when something does break down, it breaks down hard, right? More complex something gets, uh, the more sensitive it usually becomes, and harder it is to repair it. So,
Yeah, man, and it requires special technicians in order to
yep,
maintain and look after it, right?
yeah, yeah. No, this is 2020. Strange times we live in. That's for sure.
Well, I feel like we've compressed all of 2019 in 3 months.
Yeah,
Like, relatively speaking, 2019 was a pretty quiet year, all things considered,
yeah. And we
you
didn't think
know?
so just a couple months ago.
But now, considering this the state of the world in the last 3 months. It's like we compressed all of 2019 into 3 months and be like, boom, deal with it, bitches.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about like this is going to be quite interesting to see. Like we were talking about like this ideological division that's in the West, be it Europe, Canada, U.S., like the left and the right, and all that. Now, I wonder if this type of hardship that's all upon us is it going to be something that's going to divide us even further, or is it going to be something that's going to kind of like bring us together?
Well, at the end of the day, we're all human. So
Yep.
if you go from that perspective, I would hope that an event like this would bring us together.
Mm-hmm.
But considering some of the extreme leftist views that are out there,
Mm-hmm.
I really don't know what sort of spin is going to be put on this yet.
Yeah. And plus, this is during an election year too in the U.S., right? This is kind of like a round two between left versus right. And the fact that the stock market crashed and it looks like the world's heading into a global recession. Trump has lost like a lot of his positive talking points, right? It's going to be hard for him to claim in November when the whole world has been shut down, economically at least, that under him he has a great economy and all that. People are going to be tons of people are going to be losing jobs, their homes, and all that. And the virus notwithstanding, I heard something. I think it's like every 1%. Every time the unemployment goes up 1%, there's like 50 to 100,000 more deaths that happen. So, I mean, if this economy is going to crash as much as a lot of people are saying it will, there's going to be so much suffering and strife that the socialist movement might take on, might be able to win the election for sure.
Well, I mean, they're already talking on CBC radio about reigniting the debate on guaranteed income, right?
Yeah, what Andrew Yang was talking about. Yeah.
Well, that Andrew
universal
Yang,
income.
Universal income.
Yeah.
Or having a just like this is a base amount of money that you get for survival purposes, and then everything beyond that, that's of your own volition, right? Your own power of autonomy. And honestly, I mean, it's not the worst idea. I mean, like in a situation like this, now people are either unable to go to work or are afraid to go to work because they don't want to contract or spread a very virulent, very contagious virus. And like casinos are shut down. People who work in casinos are taking layoffs, getting supplemental employment insurance. I mean, all of this is going to be at least in Canada, is going to be rolled out just automatically because we live in like I said, a social democracy. So,
but I mean, how how are they going to be able to support? Like we're talking about, like if all these like school across the board is shut down, so you've got like tens of thousands of teachers right now
double whammy.
Yeah, you've got just teachers on their own, and most teachers are making over 50 grand a year. That's a lot of money. You look at the like Alberta wanted to cut through into the healthcare system here, even though it's already over capacity even before this COVID-19 shit started. He's actually not going to go through with it at this point now, obviously,
No,
for obvious reason.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
but like Quebec is, from my own experience, is completely insane. Like the wait times when everything was easy peasy, when there wasn't like an epidemic like this. Now, how is Canada going to be able to uh, support all these different infrastructures?
It's got to
Like,
go. It's got to go back into debt.
yeah,
Unfortunately, that's
yeah,
what
yeah.
stimulus spending always incurs governmental debt.
Yeah, definitely. But now we're not only talking about Canada, we're talking about like the US. We're talking about like basically a whole world's economy is being completely shut down. Completely shut down. Nothing is moving, nothing is being bought, nothing is being sold. Um, I don't know to what extent it's going to be, but I mean, we just talked about teachers. Now we're going to have to talk about like
Truck
all the
drivers.
cafes, truck drivers, which is like in the U.S. is the number one biggest employer in the U.S. and probably one of the biggest here in Canada also. I mean, how like already we're in debt, right? Already all these countries are in debt already.
Wow,
Like,
we are.
what's going to be the value of money at this point? You know, if they just decide
Well,
to print more money and all that. Like,
that's the definition of quantitative easing, um,
mhm,
which is what happens when you have extreme inflation. Right, is
mhm.
what a quantitative easing really equates to is extreme inflation. Our interest rates realistically, like as we keep pushing towards zero,
Yeah, well, the U.S. is zero already at this point.
right? Are we going to have negative interest rates?
Well,
As
it.
as a few YouTubers have pointed out, um,
Mhm.
I follow Whiteboard Finance. If you haven't followed them, they're a great resource for just understanding basic finances and the economy. Are we pushing to negative interest rates? Like
Mhm.
it's unprecedented in my time.
Yeah.
I've only
I don't even know if such a thing exists. Like all I know is that because like I mean negative interest rates is like basically because like these interest rates we're talking about from the Federal Reserve and central bank is basically the interest these central banks are charging the other
people.
banks basically.
Well, yeah, they're charging other banks and people who need money. So it's the
Well,
rate you
via those other banks, right? So if you're the Federal Reserve, they lend to the other banks. They have to pay less interest back to the central bank. At this point, it's basically one for one, pretty much, in the
hmm
U.S. at least.
yeah,
So now they can afford to lend that money to stimulate business at lower rates, right? But I mean, if nothing is being bought and sold and people are can't work or whatever. I mean, it's kind of like it's
it's a
kind of
double black swan, realistically.
exactly. So I mean, negative interest rates would equate to okay, we're gonna give you we're gonna give say the Central Bank of Canada is gonna say to TD, oh, you want to borrow $100 million? If it's like negative 0.25, they're gonna basically give $125 million to them. Like
Right.
I don't know if that. I mean, that wouldn't make
I,
any
I, I,
sense.
I don't know. I don't know if that's a thing. Like I said, this is an unprecedented
Hmm.
event. I've never witnessed anything like this in my 20, 30 years of
Well, me
life.
neither. Me neither. And would that equate just basically printing out more money? Like
I, I,
because the Federal Reserve is the one that basically makes money, prints out money.
hmm
So then that would be like another form of inflation.
Well, I mean, it's just like, okay, why does, like we've talked about this before in previous podcasts, is why do things like Bitcoin and cryptocurrency exist?
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's because it gives stability to a very unstable economic global market, I think.
Yeah.
That I think that's really the purpose of cryptocurrency, to be
Mm-hmm.
honest.
Yeah.
Is to
To all
I
you
mean,
crypto people, don't laugh because I know like Bitcoin dropped from 7,500 or 8,500 like within a day to under 4,000. I know it's gotten back up now. I'll just tell you actually what happened. So it's 5,200 now. Yeah, so it went from over 7,500 and it
it's
went
under 7,000 Canadian dollars right now.
yeah. I'm
$7,701.50
like
Canadian.
I always calculate this USD. So yeah, so couple in the 11th of March, it was close to 8,000, and within 48 hours, it went down to under 4 grand.
Yeah, so we're at $5,515.20 United States.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not telling you guys what to do,
Mm-hmm.
but realistically, I know what I'm going to be doing with my spare change. And
Yeah, you're.
this wasn't supposed to be an episode on crypto, but you know what? I mean, we wanted to end on something positive. This is something positive.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm surprised we haven't really talked about it through since we started this podcast because both me and
Well,
you, I think we
we
went
we had
over it.
we had an episode on it, right?
Yeah, yeah, about like what were our favorite cryptos at the time or whatnot.
But honestly, I mean, if you're looking for something that has, a finite value in the world that is
Yeah,
not affected by governmental or Federal Reserve policies,
yeah.
cryptocurrency is your best bet. And I'm like I said, we're not in the business of telling people what to do or where to put their hard-earned money or dollars. We're just two
Mm.
voices on the internet that talk about what we're up to, what we're doing, and we hope that other people find it interesting. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
Um,
Well, it's definitely a discount. On a positive note, everything is kind of like a discount right now. That's for
yes.
sure. I'm thinking of actually of putting some money, of course, in crypto for sure. However, right now, like I actually read this a couple hours ago. Right now, the price of Bitcoin is less than what it costs to produce it, especially with the halving, the halving of it coming,
Yeah.
meaning that now it's going to instead of making one Bitcoin per certain amount of time, it's going to be like zero point 0.5 of a Bitcoin for that same amount of energy and resources and all that. So it makes it more valuable. It happens every like year and a half or so. But now it costs more to produce a unit of Bitcoin than what it's actually worth. And another thing that worries me about the crypto market at this point is that when people are panicking and are looking to just survive, they're gonna take out whatever money they have, be it uh,
Their savings.
yeah,
Don't
yeah,
rely on your savings.
yeah, their real estate, their stocks. I mean, they're gonna cut. When it comes to feeding your family and all that. I mean, all your dreams of you know increasing your investment and all that kind of go out the window, right? When you're in panic mode and all that. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we've seen the bottom yet with crypto at this point. Um,
Well,
so
no.
means discount. On a positive note, discount.
Discount.
Discount. like
Scouts.
my lovely wife says.
I'm gonna give you another piece of advice: is do not let your emotions overpower your intelligence.
Yeah.
Always reason through a decision before you make it.
Yeah.
And look at it from very different perspectives, and just check yourself before you wreck yourself. I know I'm using a lot of cliches right now, but as the last
you too gangsta, Bill.
As the last introvert,
yeah, you're so.
I make sound financial decisions.
Ill Bill is in the house.
Ill Bill, up in here.
That's right. Watch out. He'll turn your power off,
Oh man, I know how to do that, so be careful, man.
That's right.
I also can fix your power, so it's double-sided coin there. So.
Yeah, exactly. Better to be my friend than my enemy.
The enemy of my friend is still my friend, I think.
No.
How's that quote go?
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
There you go.
That's right. Leave the art of war to me.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Man. Wow. This is a very strange moment we're living in, for sure. So,
well, I feel like we're on the precipice. You know what I mean? Like the cliff.
Yeah.
We're on the edge of tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like don't hold your breath, sort of thing. Like it's a very, very strange times.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've only, experienced 20, 30 years of life. People, that are boomers and beyond are maybe a little more seasoned, but I don't think
they've never been through shit like this.
No, absolutely not. In their personal history, they've experienced relative prosperity.
Yeah.
But like every side of the coin has a prosperous side and
yeah,
a scarcity side. But you gotta at the end of the day, like, just be well informed. I think is your best defense is a good offense, and being well informed of the facts, right, and not following the herd.
Yeah, well, I would say be well informed, but then leave it alone. I mean, know what the risks are. Take 10, 15 minutes to kind of like do the bullet points. Like I said, I haven't been following this because it occupies the resources of your mind to actually be doing other shit and how to get yourself through. I was going to say better yourself, but I mean, we're kind of past that at this point. I mean, just to survive and do what you need to do to position yourself in this crazy volatile economy we're heading into.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
do you know what I did?
What?
I went on Amazon and ordered a bunch of books on wealth creation and things I'm interested in, because I know I'm going to have some relative free time on my hands.
Yeah.
And
you might lose your job. You might. I mean, you don't know. That's the thing,
right? So I'm just like, you know what? But I'm going to put myself in the best position possible moving forward, no matter what's going on, right?
Yeah.
And at this point in time, like, even like reach out to your family and your friends, and just realistically be there for each other in one form or another, even if you're not in the same physical room. You know what I mean? Like, if you're self-isolating or feel like you're alone,
yeah,
as I mean, I have in the past, but I have I have social media now, and as an introverted person, it really actually helps me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't necessarily want to have somebody in the same room as me doesn't mean I'm not going to send a text message or reach out to social media. We have friends in Russia now because of this podcast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like I talk to Alex and his wife like every other day now. You know, so if you're listening, you guys are important to me, even though I don't see you in real life per se, but we're still friends. But it's through the power of the internet.
For sure.
You know what I mean? It's a great platform. Just beware how you use it and how you take information from it, right? Because it can send you down rabbit holes that maybe you should just avoid.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Well, I know what you mean. BY.
BY.
Yeah. No, let's not get into it. Let's not get into it, man.
All right. We're going on almost an hour here, John. How do you feel?
Well, I feel I feel we should end this.
You know what? Yeah, you can. Yeah, let's.
Well, my lovely wife has just stepped in the door at this point too, so it's like perfect timing. Hey,
Yeah,
babe.
I gotta go take care of my mom. That life goes on.
Life goes on, man.
You know.
So, well, on a positive note, this was a great podcast, and I think we talked about a lot of interesting stuff.
Per usual.
Yeah, exactly. But I think we have a even keeled approach to this crazy situation, and I empathize with all of you out there that's be it losing your jobs or anything like that. The uncertainty right now is crazy, but someone said chaos is a ladder, so maybe this
Yes.
this could, or the obstacle is the way. I mean, cliche little sayings like that. I mean, sometimes in the face of adversity is the only way really you can look at things. So I'm gonna do my best to use this, whatever hardships come my way, to use it as an opportunity to grow and become better, stronger, etc., etc.
And I am the last introvert.
There you go. You heard it. You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah.
All right.
If you follow us on social media, it's the Doomer Bloomer podcast on Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah, YouTube.
YouTube as well. That's our socials. And my personal handles are Bill_ETE, both on Instagram and Twitter, which I'm the most active. Yeah. And very, very highly entertaining if you dare follow me. Anything else you want to say, John?
Nah, man. I'm gonna make myself some coffee and I will call it a day. I just wish everybody to stay safe and not lose their heads, and maybe read some good books or inform yourselves. Take this time off to maybe go after some of these interests you guys have been, you guys and girls have been having, but never had the time to take a look at. So, wish everybody that's following us and listening to us all the best, and we'll maybe in our free time we'll be doing more of these too. We're actually thinking of doing some little 15 20 minute weekly episodes plus our 2 weeks what we try to do every 2 weeks at least.
Our bi-monthly episodes should soon be supplemented by short weekly episodes.
Yeah, exactly. Just to keep in touch more and, talk about the relevant things on a weekly basis. So we won't be diving in as in depth in multiple subjects. We'll kind of take whatever situation is occurring, the most pressing situation every week type of thing, and kind of just go through that. So, I guess from here we can end this and wish everybody, all the best. Until then.
The last introvert says, wash your hands.
There you go.
Cheers.
And no hoarding the Purell, please.
Please don't.
All right. Cheers. Bye.
Cheers.